So we can start officially the webinar.
Let's start. Okay, let's start.
We can still wait a little bit.
I think
longer if-
give them another
it's
2
okay.
minutes.
Okay, yeah, good.
Exactly. I'm just letting people in.
Yeah. They have summary, so I'm going to introduce and then probably do the talk and then you, or you want to wait first because you
No, maybe after you, but it will be a bit disconnected. But I
Yeah.
will apologize for that. Just
That's okay. Okay.
I think maybe you
Yeah,
should go after Passant,
Yeah,
right? At the
sure.
beginning, right? Sounds good. Okay, good.
Okay. And then
who's so involved in the okay, in the topic group for robotics as well in Adra.
So yes, and I think there is confusion. So someone named our group as human robot interaction, which confused two groups.
Okay,
We came together and then we figured we're doing different things.
okay.
So there's no human robot interaction group. Like there's a fake group.
On the Adra website. Okay,
No, not on the other website. This is still on the ongoing discussions because we are a new group. Like we are not yet on the we're the
Website.
very new way.
okay. So
It's
then,
about
But
human AI collaboration, which of
there
course
was
includes
someone-
robots, right?
Exactly.
It's like
There was
not
someone doing soft robotics and there's us doing human AI collaboration.
okay,
Someone could vote.
because there is a topic group, at least in the website of Adra, that is called human robot interaction. If I'm not
yes,
mistaken.
yes. So yes, there's one of human robot interaction, and this is more we can like generate generative AI for human AI interaction in general. We're talking to robotics too, so maybe we will see what happens there. But it's yeah.
So but this has become or your topic.
No,
is a new one?
this will be a new topic group.
Is a new, but the other one will still exist.
Yeah, I think so at this stage. Yeah.
Because yours is based also on GenAI, includes GenAI techniques.
Yes, and also
But
our
it's-
group is very much an idea of continuing sort of the human AI net community.
Human-centered computing.
Okay,
using
human-centered computing.
Maybe
Okay,
this
no,
was-
I
this
understand.
was
So
the discussion we
it's
wanted
maybe
to
a
have.
bit disconnected.
No,
But
but
we also have human-centered AI applied in robotics.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
connected, obviously.
And I mean, like, our usage of AI is not just AI, basically intelligent systems, but then the name is becoming super long, like human intelligent system integration.
It can be even integrated because it's the human centricity that is
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah, but I think the problem there is that it's like very often actually you come from the robotics. People want to ask for robotics. Thing.
You're already doing.
On the other hand,
That's good.
in our understanding, most of
Louder.
robotics is part of AI, right? So putting general AI under robotics, and I think that is very often the issue.
Complicated, but now I understand the picture.
This is actually
And very
very
much because I
disgusting.
think that for us, we discussed it before, an idea of sort of continuing the community around the generative AI from main INET and yes.
I could see this in robotics because I was a P of Europe.
Of course, there are connections, right?
Yeah, but this is recent because in the beginning, when we were encouraging GenAI to be used in the field of robotics, only one of them.
Go a bit louder. Everyone is actually following the discussion anyway.
One of the aspects was about at least human robot interaction or human
Yeah.
machine or
Machine,
human
yeah.
system interaction, which is the easiest way to apply GenAI.
Yeah.
Because ChatGPT is basically doing that.
That's
Uh,
we said for this as a human technology, but technology is still not there.
I think you can just now start. I think we can start and then we can.
Today.
Okay, Passant, you say.
For 1 year, they go up.
Right.
You need a second.
Not complicated.
It's here, right?
Okay. So first of all, if this gets too loud, say something because I'm loud anyways, and I don't need a mic. Welcome everyone. We're super happy to have you here with us today in this session. So I just want to give you very quick feedback if I can, because I can't click on stuff. Yeah. what is happening? Why are we here today? So I'm Passant Elagroudy. I'm a postdoc in the German Center for Artificial Intelligence in Germany, and I'm working with Paul. He's a professor and scientific director there as well. And we're co-chairing a new topics group in Adra that you won't find on the website because we're quite new. And we wanted to use the session today as an opportunity to actually discuss with you the scoping of the whole thing. Okay? So the theme that we want to have is generative AI for human, AI between double quotes, and now you get the discussion, collaboration. Our definition of AI is not just the typical AI stuff, but basically any intelligent systems, okay? For the ones who are not familiar with the Adra system, so a topics group is basically a bunch of people who are interested in something, and they need to have a means to get their voice out about the particular topic. And we're doing that in continuation of an EU project that just concluded last November. Paul later is going to tell you a little bit more about it. So this is just like, why are we all here for this session? So as I told you, our goal today with you is kind of narrowing down the scoping of the topics group, since we are not officially out, so there's still some room to change things. And we want to know who of you is interested in what and is interested to collaborate with us and work on with us. So the agenda for today, first, we're going to do a little swap. So Sam is going to tell us about a new call for robotics, because this is also relevant to what we're doing in the group. And then Paul is going to tell us why human AI collaboration, why does this make sense in the talk? And then I am going to tell you what is our current status, what have you been doing through human AI and through other things. And then it's going to be your turn, and we're going to move a lot and do some activities together for the rest of the session. And with that, I hand to Sam.
Hello, good afternoon. Jem Fleck speaking from the European Commission. So in the European Commission, I'm involved in several activities. I'm, for instance, the project officer of Adra-e that is organizing that event today. I'm also involved in the coordination of the GenAI4U initiatives, and I wanted to take this opportunity of that topic group session today to give a few words about GenAI4U. So we like it very much when we have the community working on specific topics all together. And especially this is true when projects are reaching completions. We want things to continue. And one way of continuing that collaboration between interested parties among these specific topics is to contribute to topic groups of Adra. Adra is the PPP, the public-private partnership, and we are collaborating a lot with Adra. In particular, we are defining our work programs with Adra. This is for us a way, because we need this contact with the community to decide how we are going to invest in the funding programs. And I took the opportunity of that specific topic group this afternoon to talk about a vertical that is part of the GenAI4U initiatives. This is a vertical about robotics and industrial automation. I know it's not perfectly fit with that topic group, but this was the closest to that call that I'm going to explain. We have in the work program 2025 Horizon Europe draft calls. I have to insist about that. So those are still need to be approved. So those are draft calls. A huge call that will be about GenAI applied to robotics and industrial automation. And there we'll have two big projects. So really big projects, 140 million, 145 million. Again, pending approval. I'm just quoting that several times so that you really pay attention to this. One will be about really industrial automation, so manufacturing industry, use of generative AI and that specific field, and the other one will be about robotics in manufacturing industry, GenAI applied to robotics. And of course, one way of applying generative AI to robotics, it is maybe one of the easiest way, one of the most impressive way for the general public at least, is to improve this human machine or human system collaboration. So what I would kindly ask you, if, because we're always looking for that, if you have any idea for future funding program that relates to that specific topics, you can get back to the topic group chair, and we're in collaborating with the topic group chair in general within Adra, because we were drafting our funding program, collaborating with Adra. So you can get back to them or to me directly. And I also would like to inform you, which I did already, about upcoming calls about robotics and industrial automation, so that you can already think about it, start contacting other partners to form consortia. I would like to inform you also that we're going to have, it still needs to be approved for the date. It will be either the 16th of May or the 10th of June, an info day and brokerage events around these new topics of Horizon Europe after it has been approved. When they will be approved, we'll organize that with Adra, and we can further exchange on the work program, and happy to see the best researchers and industry working together in this calls. Thank you very much.
So where will the call be, or where would then be the submission date? Where would be the sort of the submission plan if that gets approved? Would it be next year in spring or in the fall this year?
So let's think about it. So we are not sure about the date of approval. If everything goes well, it will be, the work program will be approved end of April.
Okay.
So the opening will be should be between May and September, more or less. We are not sure because this still needs to be this. Sorry, even beginning of October, if I'm not mistaken. This is the information I got. But also still needs to be confirmed. And then there is evaluation, as you know, and there is also sometimes.
But then submission would be something like in October this year, right? Or rather spring next year.
No, the submission will be from May to end September.
Okay, I see.
So it's very soon. This is why I'm here.
Okay, yeah.
To explain to the community, be ready.
Okay.
We will have this info days, we'll have this brokerage events, and be ready. Exchange between other people, partners to form consortia. So it will be very soon. Yeah.
It's going to be in Brussels as well, the brokerage day.
Yeah, it will be in the conference centers, Albert Boschet.
Yeah.
Between the
So we will get informed about it, and then we can share the information. Right?
It will be announced.
We are organizing that with Adra, so Adra will inform the community about the info day, and we also communicate about that.
Thank you so much. You good?
Thank you. So shall I now?
Yes. Now, Paul is going to tell us why human AI collaboration in the first place.
So let me just share my screen here. Yeah. Send request. Someone else is sharing. Okay. So share. Okay, so I want to talk about sort of the general idea of generative AI for human AI collaboration and what it's for. And again, the whole thing is in a way legacy of one of the first network of excellence, the Human AI Net project, that was explicitly dedicated to sort of enhancing human capabilities. So, the way we were presenting the project usually was that all of the network of excellence were looking at trustworthy and human-centric AI. But our focus was really on understanding not how to build AI that would sort of imitate humans or replace human, but something that could really enhance human capabilities. And also that's why the consortium had a lot of people, not just from AI, but also HCI and social science. And if you wonder what enhancing human capabilities means, here's a very nice example from the recent press, where somebody essentially scammed $25 million from a company by using generative AI to create a fake Zoom meeting with the board of directors, which with the fake members convincing the financial officer to actually transfer money, right? So obviously AI enabling people to do something they could not be able to do without AI. And now, of course, there's a question to what degree that's what you want, right? So we were looking at systems that operate in a human, understandable, ethical, and legal way. But the general idea about sort of collaboration as opposed to interaction, we like to do this image of this, cognitive exoskeleton. Some people don't like it because humans look like a robot. But the general vision is if you use a tool, right, that the tool dictates what you do. If you have a robot to do something for you, that it does, and you're just standing. You have an exoskeleton that you do what you would be doing anyway, you're just much more capable, right? So the idea is to translate that idea, AI enhancing people, and it addresses a lot of concerns, right? You know, things like people are talking about AI sort of disfranchising people, killing human agency, right? Because they do things for you. So the notion there is that you actually let people do and just help them, right? And one of the things we did in the Human AI Net project was driven by Jim Crawley, who from India, who's by now retired, but he wrote this nice paper about how to structure different levels of interaction between human and AI, right? And the first level you have what he calls reactive, which is very much what standard systems do. Reactive means, and that's the way you interact with ChatGPT, right? You pose a question, you get the answer. You react. It's not much of a collaboration. It's a very simple system. That's what standard systems do today, right? Controlling a point and posing a precise question. The next thing is what you call situational interaction, right? And it's something, and I work very much in ubiquitous computing, so this is sort of the vision you may have, you know, your controller of the lights in the room adjust automatically to your activity, right? You're sleeping, the light go out, you're reading, it's on a high setting, you're watching TV, it's on middle setting, right? So then the AI actually has some autonomy and reacts to the situation. The next one is a more complex one, and it calls it operational. And the idea there was that it's not just about reacting to specific thing, but it's more about the human and the system in a way sharing goals. So then the idea would be it's not just about adjusting lights to what I'm doing, but it's about collaborating with me, with having sort of a sustainable lifestyle energy-wise, right? So we share a goal of making sure that I try to be as sustainable as possible while minimizing the discomfort. And that also implies that, you know, we have joint plans. It also implies that the system and I share a degree of authority, right? That means if I share that goal and I delegate some of the actions to the system may automatically be setting my heating to start at a certain time. So there's some degree of authority dedicated to the system. Now, the next level is what Jim calls the practical interaction. And the idea was that building on this operational thing of sharing the goal, you go to a place when the system, the AI and the human learn from each other, right? So it's this thing that it's not just that we jointly manage my sustainable lifestyle, but that I learn from the system and modify my attitude, but also the system grows with me and learn from me. I mean, there were human interaction. I'm just now working on a proposal with a postdoc of mine, a different topic, quantum computing. And the fun of it is that we're both we're learning from each other, because he comes from physics, I come more from computer science, right? So that's the core of collaboration, is learning from each other, right? And then sort of the top of the ladder is what you call creative collaboration. And that's something that, you know, you call it like creative resonance, right? Something you may know. If you have these people with whom you work a lot, you know, you talk, you're throwing ideas at each other, right? You offer criticism, you offer ideas, you get back criticism. There's sort of a ping pong play of ideas and of essentially motivating and influencing your thought is what real collaboration is about. Right? And of course, if you can get a system to collaborate with you in this way, in a totally different way than what you do today with ChatGPT. And so that's sort of the aim of, you know, where we are actually trying to get AI to go to. And that's what I really understand by, you know, enhancing the capabilities is really something on those higher levels of collaboration, which is a really interesting problem. So maybe again, why do we want human and AI to collaborate, right? And it's interesting to look at it from the following perspective. Very often, when you talk about why human and AI should work together instead of just human or just AI, there is the argument that is being made that, well, this way everybody can play sort of to his own strengths, right? Humans are creativity, intuition, and computers get data analysis and high speed. And what I would like to argue is that actually today it's true. There are things that humans do better. There are things that computers do better. But to a degree, that may be a technology, limitation. So when actually we're writing the Human AI Net proposal, we had a discussion after a couple of years about what will be the only thing that eventually computers and AI will never be able to do what humans do. So any guesses what we came up with? What did you say? Well, it's a very simple answer. chill out and have a good time. Right? And that essentially goes in this direction. Whereas, there's a lot of stuff talking about creativity. For example, I had a discussion with a psychology professor once, and she said, from her point of view in her research, actually creativity is nonsense, because what you see as creativity is just somebody's ability to analytically think so far beyond your own ability to think that what he or she does seems like creative. Right? So it's an interesting definition. And the reason why I actually want to have human-computer collaboration is actually different. Because in many tasks, you just don't want the system to solve the problem for you. Let me give you an example. Imagine here, the first one, you together with your family planning the summer vacation, right? You can have an AI ask them, where shall I go, and get the perfect answer. But it's not the point, right? Spending this afternoon jointly searching for places to go is part of the experience. Right? You do not want to miss it, because actually that search, right, the journey is what you want to do. So what you want the AI to do is not to deliver the answer. You want the AI to support you in finding the answer, having fun looking for that answer. Right? So maybe filtering out the obvious scam, suggesting in the million possibilities the one that would be fun for you, but you don't want it to solve the problem for you. Not because it cannot. It's just because it takes the fun. I mean, the same is true in science, right? You don't want a system that just gives you the answer. I know, the thing with 42 Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? When it is, it's the thing. You really want to understand. You just don't want the answer. So the other things, there are places where we just want a human to make a decision. When it comes to doctors, to legal issues, you want a human to be actually part of the decision. So the point is, the reason you want to actually have this human AI collaboration in many cases is that you really want humans to do something, but you want to have support. And that's where collaboration becomes really, really meaningful. So, and you have the same thing to art. There was this thing where computers at first started drawing these pictures that would be selling like art. And very often, I'm sure many of you also had these discussions with people from press or something, are computers now replacing artists? And the answer is very simple, they're not. Because if you look at art at pixel signal level, obviously they can create things that are indistinguishable from art. But that art is not about the signal level, the art is a process, right? And a work of art is an expression of somebody being able to translate what he or she experience into that pixel thing. And that's by definition, you would like to have a computer, an AI that helps you find that expression, but just replacing it is not something. And then we come back to this exoskeleton, right? It really is not about having the system do something for us. It is about helping us do it our way, the way we want to do it, which is actually quite challenging. So the interesting thing is where we are to get to today. And I want to bring an example. When I started working in the era of ubiquitous computing, smart systems, it was like 25 years ago nearly. Actually, it was 25 years ago. There was this problem in ubiquitous computing, smartphones, not smartphones, mobile phones came out. And he said, we can now give phone sensors, let them automatically decide when to ring and when not to ring. And the problem is unsolved, right? You still have to set your thing manually to silent. And that is very clear, right? Because what happens is that in this decision, very simple decision, to have a phone ring or not, you have a very complex process that relates to something like, common ground between you and the device. It relates to, there are many things. So the classical thing we did back then and published paper on it was, I can detect that actually I'm in a meeting, so I don't ring. But that is not true. Whether actually they should ring or not depends on many, many factors, which have a huge degree of complexity, which today AI find difficult to find. So this is what we call a common ground problem. Right? We have to have the same understanding of the situation to be able to make that decision. And here's another example. It's something I used to show in my AI lectures. It's something that AI cannot do. Now imagine the situation, you have a couple here in the restaurant, right? The waiter comes and asks who has the steak, the meat, and the salad. And then the lady said, I'm the bunny. So obviously as a human, we know things, right? We know that she's not a rabbit, but she wants the salad. And there are many other social cues, right? This may not be quite politically correct to display. And if you use that example, it's quite obvious that it's probably not a business dinner, but it's more like a social dinner. She may be flirting. And there's a lot of things, right, that you can only understand and interpret if you really have this common ground on social things. And the interesting thing is I used to show it in my AI lecture to show what AI cannot do. And I'll show you later with actually LLM and Gen AI, you can actually parse that situation pretty well. So what is Gen AI and what are LLMs? And here's my favorite, generative AI for this collaboration. Here's my favorite way of explaining what LLMs are. Some of you may know this Plato's Elagroudy. Our perception of the environment can be compared to this slave sitting in the cave. And what you see is essentially the shadow from outside, right? You interpret that. So that's the way we humans perceive authority, reality. And then we invented language to describe that skewed perception, right? And then we wrote what we see, this language in books. Then we digitized them. Then we applied neural networks to them and generated, via the neural networks, probability distribution models of co-occurrence of words in that distributions. And bottom line, that is what language models are, nothing more. So in a way, what you generated, it sounds, and many of us at AI were really surprised that given the chain of creation of language models, this thing did anything useful at all. And once you think about it, it's clear why they do. Because what you have here is an approximated noisily, but extremely comprehensive world model. Given that amount of people who contribute to creation of the data, we have a world model that is sort of probabilistic world model based on the experience of humanity as a whole. And world models always were the holy grail of AI. And that is the meaning of it, right? And so if you give a situation to ChatGPT, actually even an old version, I think it was 3.5, right? Describe the situation, and then at least the top level thing about that the lady wants to indicate that she wants the salad, is actually interpreted correctly. That means that with this world model that you actually have a tool to create this common ground that is needed to do human AI collaboration on a level that is above this purely reactive or situative thing, but where you can actually dream about having this very flexible collaboration. So in general, you can say, common ground, and I think that is really the significance. And Tim, you mentioned a bit when it comes to the interaction, right? But it is significant of Gen AI for human AI interaction or collaboration. Really is this creation of shared perception and common ground, which, even the computer scientists who worked, for example, with doctors, right, or somebody from a different specialization, you see how difficult it can be. Why? Because we lack the common ground, right? Simple things like what is a system? What is a model? I remember I was once in one of my early EU proposals with social scientists, and they were talking about models. And then the social scientist says, oh, they would like to build models that are predictive. I said, what? Coming from physics and stuff, the very definition of a model is something that allows you to predict. If you cannot make prediction, it's not a model. It's just philosophy. And these are the chains, right? So now we can generate the common ground. But there's another thing that's really important. And then if you look, today we don't write book, but we post multimedia content, right? And that allows the system to create something that allows you to relate visual and text and sensor representation to each other. And that is another thing, and something that Jim mentioned, it allows you the interaction with the systems on a very different level, right? Through combination of vision and speech. And let me show you what I mean by this, right? You have true intuitive interaction. And let me show you an example, right? So what you would like to really have, I work in wearables with glasses, what you would like to have, you imagine you have your computer, your smart glasses, and you find yourself being chased by a bear, right? You don't want to stand and start to Google and say, what do I do, right? What you want to do is to say, what now? And the system has a visual and an audio thing that can tell you something, right? You're doing some sort of, you talk about supporting production with Gen AI, right? You don't want to be there and asking. You would like the system, when you arrive in a situation where you just don't know what to do, you just say, what do I do now? And you would like the system to be able to give you reasonable assistance. And that's another thing that actually, Gen AI can help you. So here's an example of this sort of interaction when I show Gen AI, this picture here and asking what in the picture below may be of an interest to an art level, it recognizes what it is and can explain me that, that's the Museum of Modern Art and that's something you would like to go. If you do something like this, right? This is a picture from the internet. So I put it into GPT-4 and ask, what should the person in the picture do? And actually you get a reasonable answer, right? You get a reasonable answer. So that is again the thing about having a world model that is accessible in the multimodal way, in a way that a human can understand. It completely changes your outlook, the framing of human AI collaboration, which I think it is a huge improvement. But then of course, it doesn't really solve it, and we come to problems. I picked those nice examples. It's nice to take a picture, and I try a couple of prompts and try a couple of pictures, and then eventually you get the right answer, right? But of course, those models are limited. Also, there's one thing, I show the system the picture, and then you can think how the system get used, but getting from that scene analysis, to something like really proper multimodal understanding of the situation is a different thing. Building an interactive system is yet another, right? So the reason we founded this group, something as a result of the project, is that with Gen AI, we are in a position where we can fundamentally revolutionize human AI collaboration, interaction to be a true collaboration. But there's a lot of complex problems that need to be addressed. One problem that I really like to address, is the thing about model limitation, because there's a lot of discussions about what the models can do. And I always like to find failures. And, there's some really funny failures. So, I just today played around, and these models tend to sort of freak out when you give them, or they used to freak out when you give them strange questions that don't correspond to what you find often. So I asked the model, what happens? I had a tennis ball made of neutral stand material and try to play tennis with it. Okay? Nonsensical question. It turns out that today's models, ChatGPT-4, at first gives you a reasonable answer, actually in a funny way. And it recognizes, it tells you, what is the math, it would crash you and so on. And then it continues to ramble on. And if you look at it, you suddenly realize it doesn't understand anything. Because what it said at a certain stage is, yes, being close to it would not be healthy, but it says it would collapse your hand into a black hole. Which is a total nonsense, right? You have in neutral stand material, you just add your hand to it, you don't create a black hole. You understand anything about the physics, it's total crap, right? It's doing what the model do, we're just sort of associating probabilities, high mass, collapsing black hole. Although in the slide before, the thing was actually pretending to be able to compute and explain physics. In reality, it's no clue about physics, no connection to reality. It just replicates the probabilities, right? Here's another example. It's something actually my son, who's studying computer science, and you may know it, right? What is bigger, 9.11, 9.99? But it's trivial thing. We all know models, raw models without additional add-ons are not very good at calculations and not very good at judging sequences. So it's not very surprising. You ask it to subtract, it's not very good. That's all fine. But then you do something that you usually do, go set up, use Python, right? I can use Python. It will write a program that computes the correct things. It doesn't agree, and it tells you it's a floating point precision issue. Right? Again, it's another of those things where you see that this, if a student gives you something like this, he learned the other hard stuff by heart and has no clue what is happening. Right? And that's a big problem with those models, that they create this impression also for interaction of actually knowing everything, but in reality, they have no clue. Which doesn't say they worthless. So for example, now O3 actually fixed it. They will compute it correctly. What I think is funny is I reasoned for 5 seconds to do that decision, right? So that's again the amount of effort that goes into it. And the reason actually those models fix it is very clear, because they actually, now you look at what O3, I don't know if you read some papers about DeepSeek, where they take the basic model, right? And then they actually have specific semi-supervised tasks where they teach the thing to reason, right? So they recognize that the model itself is just a noisy probabilistic representation and try to use it to do something so it's good. But of course, the problem in many cases is that what you see is sort of a duct tape fix, right? You always see that. They fix one thing and the other one emerges. And the question is, some of these approaches, like, what they did with DeepSeek with this using simulation and reasoning seem to be more than a duct tape fix. But a lot of those are, right? The question, which are not, if you design systems, is very relevant. And that really what brings me to something, when there was this big discussion about, this model becoming aware or something, which I always find abstruse. We had this paper written from Human AI, and Holger had a very nice statement. The problem with the system is not that they are sort of too intelligent, become AGI. The problem is that when you interact with them, they create the impression of some really deep intelligence and wisdom being behind it. And users get fooled. And when you get fooled, it's a problem. And I think when you design human AI collaboration based on the system, which the possibilities that they have, then actually handling that problem is really the key, right? Even more important than the others. How do we make sure that people get the understanding, right? So you understand, like the combination of artificial and natural stupidity that actually creates the issues. And let me just finish by, some work we did to validate that. So we did an experiment following way. We took computer science students, and we gave them tasks from the International Physics Olympiads for school, right? And we had two conditions. So we told one, use Google search and books. The others we told, use ChatGPT, whichever way you want. Let's see how you can use it, right? And we observed two things. The first one was, we then asked the students and the experts, the teachers, how did you rate the answers provided by ChatGPT? And of course, the less you know, the more you are impressed by the answer from ChatGPT. And so the students always rated the answer better. And that is a big problem. I'm talking about interaction because of the impression of being clever. The other thing that's really interesting is, we look how people used it, right? So you can see different usage, and the brown one is copy-paste. Because the answer was so good, like 50% would just copy-paste the stuff. Whereas when using Google, you see a lot of pre-processing, a lot of transformation of the task, a lot of post-processing. And the results were, of course, corresponding. It's a paper we published where, in the score points, people using Google scored nearly twice as good as the ones using ChatGPT. Because they trusted it too much, right? That really was the issue. So, that was what I tried to tell you. And the message really was, if you look at this, that Gen AI can transform human AI collaboration, right? That it's really interesting to have complex modes of collaboration with humans and AI. But there are a lot of problems. So let me give you things. My favorite thing, there's a citation from Pablo Picasso, computers are useless because only give you answers. And that's sort of the motivation. No, we don't want to just give answers, but we want to have Gen AI-driven human AI collaboration that really helps people ask their own questions, helps you find new answers, right? Helps you do things you couldn't do otherwise, like scan the bank. But then, of course, there's a lot of research to be done there. And that's what this group is about, right? To bring together people who would like to do this research, to help the commission draft maybe calls and research direction in this direction, and to solve problems. Okay, thank you.
This is, by the way, what we're going to start doing next after I present those slides.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing now.
Okay, so as Paul told you, this was built on Humane AI Net. And sorry, we're talking a lot about that, but because this is like big block that is still, although the project is done, but we're still keeping the legacy of the project, and lots of the initiatives that happened inside it are still ongoing, and we're open for collaboration about it. So for example, we're currently compiling a book about human AI collaboration. If someone is interested to contribute, that would be lovely. And we also have a legacy page where we published most of the data sets that we have, videos, tutorials, and we're just praising the community around the whole thing. Because we were super excited about it, we did a lot of events, especially in the last year. Like I just selected some of them to give you an idea how far we were going. We weren't doing the typical research project type of thing where we're only talking to scientists. But for example, we went to the European Commission at some point because Gen AI came out in the middle of the project exactly. We held an event in the parliament about how we should tackle that and how to focus on human AI collaboration. We also went to families of immigrants and got people who don't even do computer science, got them and started coding with them using Gen AI and doing stuff for the kids at home. We got students who are, okay, they have technical skills and engineering skills, but they are not really computer scientists. So they are architects, and we got like a lot of interdisciplinary people and did a hackathon on how to increase our research productivity. We went to social scientists, so they know what they're doing. They like qualitative stuff, but we were like, by the way, lots of the stuff can be done by Gen AI. Would that work for you? And we actually investigated how do they feel about this. Because what we discovered is it's not about whether it's possible or not. What do we want to do as humans as well with our time and our ownership? We did a lot of events with Adra, with Ida. So we have a lot of awareness events about education and what can Gen AI do. And then we started having like bigger blocks that could be sustainable a little bit. So we started a special interest group in CHI, which is Computer-Human Interaction, the flagship conference about Gen AI. We had it accepted 2 years in a row now. We have the HHAI conference about hybrid human-artificial intelligence. I'm one of the vice chairs for the IFIP human-centered group as well. So this is another arm that's trying to do something very similar to this. And we had an interaction article about how Gen AI is going to completely change the way we're doing human-computer interaction research. And this was just published a couple of months ago, and it's already quite highly cited. Which brings me to the goal. Like, this was not about bragging, but as you can see, there's a lot of initiatives happening out there, but it's quite fragmented. And we wanted to have some sort of entities that actually get people together, because let's face it, if we put the resources of the people and the money together, we're able to reach bigger things. The second thing is we wanted to really focus on human-centered aspects of design, because while AI is really coming out so fast, there's a lot of focus on the algorithms and what can we do without actually focusing how is that impacting us and whether this is good or bad for us. And we also wanted to really engage with the international community, because lots of the things have been focused more around Europe, but there is stuff happening out there and people are happy to collaborate. We're not talking on the level of countries, but at least like on the level of institutes, we can do things together. And we wanted to be able to actually contribute to the research agendas of the European Commission, because they're open to that. We want that, but there aren't really clear means. It's not like you're going to text about it. So we wanted to have a community that is systematic around it. And very last, we wanted to have a hub where the industry at least can approach us, and we're having experts in the community that can say, okay, maybe I can't do that, but I know someone who knows someone who can fix this specific problem. So this is like the vague goal of what we want to do, but we want to actually figure out what are you interested in. And this is the next part of the session. Let's start, like, since today already Cecile was talking about some of the activities that are happening in the application areas, and some of them are still open for feedback. Let's try to work on that and see if we can contribute something into this. And now, give me a second. I share the Mentimeter so you can contribute and our online participants can contribute as well. Get your mobiles ready. I think something is happening with Zoom, but that's fair enough. This can work. Okay. First of all, let's get to know each other. I don't want to put you on spot to introduce yourselves, but at least like, where's everyone coming from? Scan, enter, and we're gonna get the adrenaline rushing a bit, and I'm gonna stretch you out with seconds. So you have 10 seconds to do that. Go. And our online participants, you can do mentimeter.com, and then you can enter the code that is available at the top of the slide. Hop, hop. Okay. Open your mobile scan. You're getting at the good part. The stressful part. Let's do it.
The idea that we fill in the next questions already, or
No, like I need to activate the next question. So anyone is still?
I have them. I
You have them? You have everything?
Yeah. I'll wait.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Already filling in things.
I mean, you can.
No, it's okay, I'll wait.
This is also interesting. Okay. Anyone still feeling anything? See, that's why we need human-computer interaction, not even AI collaboration.
Context.
Uh-huh. Okay. Have a lot of people coming out of different places.
But I want to clarify this with what we do right now is to create a mapping of potential collaborations.
Yeah. But I need to find a way to actually control this because I lost control over it. Okay, you know what? Like you're starting the router, we open from the beginning. It's good that people started asking, what's your background? So we had research, industry, both, commission, others. Anyone still scanning the QR code, or can I remove it? Anyone still scanning?
Still see the phones.
I mean, the code is good because the online participants need the code to enter externally. Okay. Next step for us. So to give you a bit of context about that, anyone still needs the QR code?
No.
Okay, you're good. Okay, maybe I explain a bit about that. So I picked those because these are like the main application areas that Cecilia was talking about today in the introduction that the commission is focusing on. So these are like not imaginary stuff, but this is where the calls are coming in. And she was talking that they still need some feedback about the details of a call related to mobility and agriculture. And that's why this is the next step that we're going to do. Okay? Let's see what people are interested in. Like, you can only pick 3 applications where human AI collaboration should be paramount. So health, climate change, are you winning with us? Culture and digital industry spaces. No one cares about food. That's good. Leave food alone. You don't need AI for that. Okay. So this one, I wanted us to collect. So you're going to enter it on Mentimeter, but we're also going to discuss it. What type of initiatives and organizations are already doing something similar that we should reach out to? So on my side, for example, we have the IFIP, which is very similar to the ACM if someone is publishing in that realm, ACM and IEEE. But so ACM, IEEE, IFIP. So they already have a human-centered group, and they're starting to push a lot of tracks, specific tracks about human AI collaboration in conferences. There's also the HHAI conference about hybrid human artificial intelligence. There's Adra, of course. What else do you know about that we should have on the map and start contacting them and building the community? Take a minute to think and enter them. You can use your own networks as well. It could be as simple as a university that you know of, but they're really focusing on that type of work. I also know that in France, for example, they're doing a lot of stuff in an area related to human AI collaboration. There is a couple of HCI professors there. Think, and our online audience participate with us. Thoughts? Okay, anyone still entering input? You're good? Okay. Now, time for the group discussion. As Paul presented in the presentation, he focused on 3 technical challenges that he thinks we need to start acting upon them to enable human AI collaboration and its wide adoption. We're going to do groups, and you're going to discuss for the next 10 minutes what type of top technological challenge or technical challenge that we should focus on, and we're going to use that for the scoping of the working group. I'm going to mention numbers. Everyone memorize your numbers, okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. Group. Everyone who has number 1, go together. We're going to work together. Group number 1 here. Group number 2 here. Group number 3 here. Your group number 3.
I need to.
You need to do stuff. I have to stress you out, not just in the office.
We are again.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Should the
We're
group make
good.
notes?
You're going to think together, and then you're going to enter your
Or stand up.
Multimedia.
I think we're sitting already.
That's a good idea.
Yes,
Was
the
the
very-
previous session was all standing up as well?
You had to stand for almost an hour, I think. Why did it out? You didn't. How wide?
So,
Actually go outside.
oh, that's, I was thinking the same, I saw you with your tea.
I don't know. Find out what we do there. Wait, so that we avoid these. Okay, for the online attendees, can you do a single group? I know you're a little, I think you're almost 5 because we are logged in several times, 7 attendees. Okay, can you do one group and start discussing together in the chat and enter on Mentimeter as well the final answer? You have 10 minutes.
By using both humans and robots, not completely removing
We have a question about the
Framing? Yes.
yeah, we were asking wide adoption. You mean adoption by the EU or?
No, people, like regular people, old people, yeah, like the regular people are not afraid of AI and they're starting to do human AI collaboration. What
So
is
we
the
want
main-
one already familiar.
What do you think?
Already, yeah, practical. Because there is different barriers to.
No, like
No, we
assume that you know how to do like the basic, like not your typical computer science stuff. They have stuff, they know it's AI, they're super afraid of it. What type of technological challenges on to make it AI collaboration better? It could be that they're not afraid, it could be the other way around, that they're actually super trusting the whole process of making a move.
It doesn't matter, we're not talking about.
No. It's something like on a higher level, like what Paul said, for example, the multi-model models are not working yet or something like that.
I feel it is
Okay? You got the chance. Then you got the
human
chance.
experience.
You got
Yeah.
very much of it.
No, I'm sorry. I had a meeting outside on Zoom. I'm in
Your technical point of view, what would I
for me, what is missing is stay in which sector, okay, or in which kinds of application. For example, I come from the automotive sector.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, there is.
we're also trying to ensure
I
that
mean, for
humans
the
are also
automotive
in
sector,
control of
about
the
the
system,
human
but at the same time,
AI.
it's automated. So it's like we're trying to find the right balance between having
interaction,
human.
okay? And so there's lots of things to do inside that footprint. So I'm positioned at the car level.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I don't know,
If you
maybe
can
for
convince
you,
them that this is
I don't know, honestly, if I have to convince them, maybe they have already other use cases, okay, or yeah, I don't know. So for me, I have the use case. Actually, I have the needs. Okay, the needs for people of the car.
What I was saying is also
Inside the driving, dealing with different categories of
actually
like elderly people, the youngest or younger people. Okay, so this is something that's interesting for us as automotive industry.
Like, for example, if you
Yeah.
take dealing with different
control
people and
autonomy
different ages.
and what you said.
What is the exact problem that is it the personalization? Is it the
for example, that they actually don't understand the technology in the first place. What type
It could be.
If you have like 10 million and you can only work on a single technological challenge. For us, for example, it was actually creating using those multimodal models to start modeling behavior. We think this will increase like the physical understanding of the world. If you only get the 10 million, if you get more, you can do more. What is like your core thing, the overarching theme, even beyond the applications? Because these are also super new technologies, so there are still very foundational problems, like hallucinations or something like that.
Communication.
Talk together, and the discussion itself, it's good that they get your perspective on it.
You need to understand how to communicate with such system.
You have already a use case in mind. That would be
To be able to ask the right questions, to be able to.
one case.
In a sense that two agents respectively need to follow the right mental model of
So
maybe something that seems to be said about and links with your point is that maybe some interface that is very friendly and easy to use that allows this interaction. Something like something that's platform that can be designed in a way that humans are able to interact and the robots able to understand. Communication that humans
because you know here collaboration yeah, but in purely AI systems, but the moment is only talking, we do not have action. We have more and more talking about actions. So systems that are able to actions not only
So we solved everything.
Yeah, of course. So, is the group still?
2 minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining. You can sit together. I'm gonna shuffle you in the next slide, anyways.
Okay.
Situation.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'll be moving.
We are fast, so.
I just make sure that I don't forget all my after stuff.
Did you enter your answer on Mentimeter so that we have documentation?
I'll put it there.
And think of like 30 seconds how to present your answer.
I'm gonna have a professor.
Come on.
No, I was
That's
talking too
only
long.
honest,
I was talking too long. Someone of you has to do that. I've done my part of talking. I think you were the one who came up with it. So I think it's a good idea.
About 1 minute remaining. First time.
All sessions have been recorded to make sure that
Because I love the questions you asked ChatGPT when it just came out. We had a whole round of asking, but it changed a lot. They fixed a lot of things that were at the beginning. You have a system that is so complex. There was nothing right.
Because like once the session is closed, all of
Scary
the
because if
session.
you-
Could you download
I
the chat whenever?
then oh okay, I'm posing here because I mean it was about that. So we asked it.
Okay, 20 seconds remaining.
Complex
Answer your
papers,
answer. And you're
papers, it made up authors. And yeah, they fixed that, fortunately.
But it's a layer on top.
Yeah.
The model itself
It's
is
a-
changed, but it's a layer on top, and it's a little like safe.
Yeah.
The problem part.
But you say that DeepSeek approaches it differently then, or they still just sort of
What they did it. A lot of this is-
Enter to Mentimeter. You're going to present now. Mentimeter. Mentimeter. Summarize what you are at, and this is on Mentimeter. And then on Mentimeter, so we have documentation, and you're going to present.
Not just learn the thing on word probabilities, but actually training on something that relates to make sense.
Let me
because I'm not so old.
You can say article, but that's not technology.
telling us
That's why I would.
all of the waterways here using founders. They were saying like how important it is that the system knows context because if they speak
Oh,
of
it's actually showing now.
speaking of a bridge or a lock or something. But of course, if you talk about the art, or even in the context of waterways, the LLM, it answers with a Picasso basically. So it has no idea of what you were.
Anyone still needs the QR code?
Remember what you stated like with the
Okay.
star and
So-
this ball. It's like you're putting things together that don't make sense, and it produces an answer.
First, I'm gonna say
First
the
you
number
think-
randomly. So number 2, start presenting. What did you reach?
Yeah.
Group number 2. Do you know who's group number 2? That's you guys. Okay. Where are your answers and what did you reach? What is the core technological problem or technical problem we should focus on?
Which one we should start with?
You have maximum 2 of them.
Okay. So the bottom right one, calibration of trust versus expectations versus capabilities. We thought that there's a big mismatch often, like also Paul was saying, between what the system or robot can do and what people expect that it can do, and how to get that calibration right is a big challenge, technological, societal, social.
Yes, and then we have another one there, human and AI for actions, not only to discuss, to ask a question, but to have an action, so to go even further than what we have.
Thank you so much. I'm clumsy enough to do this. Okay. Group number 1. Okay. What?
Yeah, so we came up with a common one was the problem of access to data to, for training the models and also in deployment.
Uh-huh.
And there was also a comment about making technology ethical. But it's not technological exactly. I would like to move on and then they said if it was possible, make it more, yes, to make it more human related. I would say that the most challenge is not about technological, but social acceptance and ethical aspects that can be sometimes not satisfied by technological achievements. Data is the first thing, which also is double-sided sword. Okay. But that's separate topic.
Anything else? Was good? Thank you so much. Again, and the last quickest group because you wanted to bring even more.
This first.
You're on spot. Go for it.
We put explainable AI. So I think if we talk about collaborating with AI, then you need to know how the AI reasons, how it came to a certain conclusion, because else, I mean, I thought the presentation was very interesting because in the end of the day, we want to work together. And so you want the AI to help you critically think, and that comes down to the creative part where it gets you also thinking further than maybe what's in front of you, and that you need to have some form of a way to understand how it came to conclusions and then be able to reason upon that. So yeah, I think it's a very important part of work.
Okay. And we have from our online audience, I can see the, yes. So Alessandro is saying the ability of the system to model itself, the human and their interaction, and to reason about, you're moving, where am I? And to reason about the models, and then maybe in one word, this is like mutual self-awareness. So he's arguing that this is what already happens between humans to humans, they adjust to each other, but the system just goes and neglecting everyone. So we need to find a way for this interaction to be a little bit more aware.
Yeah, this mutual self-awareness is a nice description.
I like it. Alessandro, we're using this for the publication. Okay, next exercise. If I can move. Okay, so another group discussion, and because I need to keep you moving in the room, it's exercise time. So again, we're gonna play the numbers game. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. Oh, you're back to 1.
No, it's 3. Now I'm
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
okay.
so I-
So here's group number 1. Here's group number 2. Here's group number 3. Move, move. Up, up.
I'm what?
Yes.
Number 1, group number 2, group number 3. Like, I'm not nothing because. Okay. I can summarize. So, because policy can make it or break it. So you can choose to do one of two things. You pick when you're either make a new policy that you think will help people adopt hybrid human or like human AI faster, or maybe you know of a current policy that is active and you think we need to delete this, and tell us which policy is that. Did you get the task?
No more policy.
No more policy. You have 10 minutes. Start. Anyone is confused about the task? Is the recording available?
Yes, I'm working.
Okay.
Yes, you know, I work here at National Assembly, policies to come. People are really enthusiastic, relevant.
I mean, you manage to
Hard to speak what policy.
policy like I just heard it, so go for it. And you're going to also tell us why.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
It's more like they must as
Exactly.
I think actually that's a little.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Aware.
Are you looking
When are using AI
acceptable and it's not a question? It's also
so immediately going to the configuration.
yeah, based on those
Anything that helps with
Yeah, it has a 3-tier or 4-tier risk
Fourth
level,
tier,
right?
yeah.
To be ready.
I think there's one that's also unacceptable, and then they say,
Yeah.
but what?
Yeah. I think what's also interesting is to know that, for example, like you said, how to strike a balance between regulation and open access. So that's something that came to my mind, especially because of Paris, the event haven't happened. So she wants the EU-wide thing. Is it still accessible enough? Or is it more like using inwards?
Yeah, so I would say that a legislator and lawyers should have a basic source science, learn what's called inference.
Is it
You know, we optimize the step right in like 80% of organization with full effort. The last 10%, so much is not like. And that's what a lot of regulation doesn't understand. You need some regulation. Otherwise, it also gives companies a
Much part of the population.
The problem is they want to make it so perfect
Any of the digital
that
solutions are going.
or other thing you learn in basic computer science, you
Even
know,
aware that they're actually collaborating with AI.
at the same
They're
time.
not aware.
And so lawyers don't understand.
Google is now also producing different results. Not really. At the moment, it's actually going and it's really true. But I mean,
In a way, AI actually
slide are actually using AI, and that's why I think
my hairdresser is I don't know. What data is
very interesting. And now they very interesting because it's a paradigm shift where
and the risk, everything.
what do we need?
Yeah, I can even argue that computer games are hybrid. Children are playing. But they'll have
We say then less GDP. Oh, less AI.
I think it's
Maybe it's not so
code
bad
will be
looking,
more
but
having
You didn't post that you will make it available.
No, because I was speaking of, we probably won't be able to provide the regulation.
More context. Yeah.
more context aware.
digest
Track
how
like
to use
concepts that we but it will be really difficult to look at all the recordings and to
it's a sort of
But at least for this session, I can ask explicitly if
there's a lot
no, not on the YouTube channel. You can just upload it to a Google Drive or something like that, and we share the link privately because I need the link. Like because you said that. Yes. No.
reader wants to have the recording.
Yeah.
That's why it's still recording.
So two things. So first of all, definitely I need to have the recording because we're publishing it. Like I need to actually have the recording today because we're publishing a paper out of this.
Or are you publishing it? Recording?
Not the recording, but all of the content because we were taking notes because.
What is necessary?
No, I won't promote it online.
Like
The second part, so this is the first part. So this I can get today. Okay.
I don't know if you
any juncture or at the European Union level and try to basically
I don't know.
It doesn't have to be all the recordings, but
what this means
at least
for Europe rather than having more
I'm not responsible.
rather than actually reducing dependence
Okay.
on China and countries which are more weakened.
I mean, like if it takes a couple of hours,
With
also
limited regulation and
but like I don't want it, for example, in 2 weeks or something because we have a deadline on Friday to publish about this. And so because yes, there's recording, so we weren't happy taking notes. This is one thing.
Okay.
Second thing, can we share it at least within the participants if they authorize it?
It's still a black box of knowledge.
I need to see. I'm not responsible for this.
But I mean, like, can you check what do we need? Because I can make them sign a consent form now, and then we're done.
I know, but
But we're not going to be able to track them later. So
we need to do that for.
What I would collaborate.
it doesn't have to be for everyone because not everyone is requesting it. So we don't care about the rest.
Very, very hard.
It doesn't have to be consistent again if they don't care about it.
How do we adopt you collaboration by coming up with the right?
They are not all talking to each other, and none of their leaders actually asked for it. If their leaders cared for
Also frameworks. That's some of the discussion yesterday focused on having frameworks, but not just one framework. The EU project.
Okay, but at least for us, we need to have it.
So that's
try.
yeah, framework with respect to certain projects.
Okay, because
They are tailored to specific.
I know it's your issue, but could you communicate
Not
with
just
them?
one
These things need to
framework
be,
that
because I was
that
planning to
is,
record. I didn't
takes
record because I was
down
told
the
that everything is being recorded.
It is being recorded, right?
I know, but if we're not having it, then it's not being
It
recorded.
was also
Like these things,
very interesting. And we have multiple frameworks which
yes,
adapt.
yes. But I mean, like for future events, this needs to be communicated because, like for other events, we actually recorded and published on YouTube on our own.
No, I'm just ready.
Explain why it's this.
1 minute remaining. Start entering stuff to Mentimeter.
It has to be something that provides this thing.
I know,
in print.
I know.
Say,
But that's why, for
blurred.
no, but what we did, for example, in another event is in our room, because we have control over the room, we put a huge sign that this room is being recorded. If you're not okay with being recorded, this is a corner that's not being recorded, and any voice or something will come. It is being recorded, so if you don't like it, you need to leave it. It is what it is.
Tricky.
It is what it is. It's private group. Technically speaking, these are like the topic groups. So it's
Yeah. Let me check today about.
Yeah. So the most important is that I need to have it.
Yeah, I think it should be possible. For the other thing, for the thing with participants, every time I need to check with. Okay. I will.
Comments.
Enter stuff. Mentimeter still empty, or it's not
Okay, so
loading.
which one should we?
Is anyone entering something? It's not loading.
Like that.
Maybe
Yeah, perfect.
That's your institute. Please
Really? Starting from scratch?
Yeah, because I refreshed the page and.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you send this QR code.
This one is specifically to that question.
Yeah. I mean, in a perfect universe, that's how it works, but at this point, it's super busy. So we're going to see.
Build Asian things. Like an example with what should you do in this context? It's not gonna take
Should have
long
a European
before
form.
there's actually applications that do that. If you insight,
Wait, what I
then
can
you
do?
say, okay, now
Yeah.
give me what should I do?
I think maybe I can kind of send you the certified
What
privacy.
They want to more person because they know, hey, you read sports, you know,
I do not have.
now I'm tired, so I'm gonna suggest you use based on the common we're not aware that
It's already.
it's in development.
No, it's also starting
These
from
large
scratch.
language models allow that.
Can you try?
Years of being able to look at a picture and describe what they see.
No,
So you picture
I can access.
Yeah,
them.
it can be used.
Super secure because when I want to have this,
and the questions.
some additional layers.
Uh-huh.
Explainable AI for me is the.
There's something.
Mentioned that.
How widely is this?
Okay, let's start
That's
presentations.
interesting.
So group three,
I answered before, so
if you group three, you know, like I'm gonna throw a ball. Come on, pick the others after.
go ahead.
Okay.
So, I mean, we spoke about a lot of different things, but one thing that we came up with was that, and this also draws from the conversations yesterday and the trustworthy AI session, and the discussion there also was, and that relates to today's discussion, is that can we have multiple frameworks that are tailored to different projects and use cases rather than having just one framework that rules them all. And in this case, then it's a fight between giving autonomy and or becoming a bit restrictive. So it's that the balance between these two that.
So basically that the laws are being applied based on the application area, is this?
Yeah. So.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Who?
I just said something to you.
Hey,
Under the QR code.
wait, this I can work on.
Oh, here it is.
As far as we discussed, and we believe that there are a lot of things that can be done, but it's not clear yet what exactly can be done because so developing over time. But one thing which is actually existing in your policy is the AI Act, which is about to be official. But the companies that I, for instance, interviewed for one project, many of them say that we are not developing our product right now. We are waiting for AI Act to start because we don't know how we can make ourselves good, aligned within the lines of AI. So we are waiting for a precedent when others will start doing it. So we will just copy their strategy. So right now we are not doing anything at all. And I know quite a lot of companies like that. So I would say that it would be brilliant if here we could put some agreement that there is should be some legal support, some body with lawyers who would be able to translate the requirements of an AI Act to
Just some advisors for the translation, like not even
advisors, yes, maybe some sort of recommendation, some sort of guidelines, yes, guidelines can be published on, by someone, I don't know, it must be lawyers, I don't know who exactly should do such guidelines, but there must be some explainability of the AI Act regulations that would stimulate companies to become more pro-European values, that would make it possible to publish their projects or whatever they're doing to people, and that actually would also make them more trustworthy and explainable for people because that's the aim of the AI Act.
Thank you so much. Last but not least, group one.
Got a microphone.
Okay, so we're also talking about the AI Act mainly. 2 points related to that, very concretely, human AI collaboration will probably automatically fall on the highest risk, which isn't very intuitive and will significantly hinder development. So we thought it would be better to make it a lot more, like you were saying, context specific on what needs to be applied. And the other problem we saw is that many of the definitions are so vague in general that they are useless.
And maybe just to add to it, because I think why it's different from human AI collaboration. I think a lot of AI and its notion of this risk categories is based on a different or more static way, or let's say this reactive systems, right?
Yeah.
So I have a system that is aimed to judge my health status or to judge whatever who gets credit or not, right? And then you can easily sort of classify them as high or low risk. But you have like this human AI collaboration where I have an AI that sort of flexibly enhances my thinking process, right? Then it's not that easy. And you really consequential, you have this AI that sort of talks with me. Everything it does would then be high risk. So in a way, this rigid framework would sort of make sense, is not well suited for it.
Okay. And we had from the online audience that AI is actually announcing that it's AI when it's mixed social interactions, so that people don't think that this is something else, a human or just a regular computer or something like that. Okay.
Maybe to pose a question, what we call AI today, is that something that we in 5 years will still call?
Repeat all of that.
I just an open question, because I mean this is obviously a very evolving technology, but what we call AI today, is that something that we would call AI in 5 or 10 years? I mean, when Google started their search engine, it was also sort of revolutionary. You could also view it as a form of artificial intelligence. It basically made the web accessible. It just if we're talking about human AI collaboration, it's still just human computer interaction, right? It's an open question.
Thoughts?
You just use this box. You know this box? I'm not a robot. So the AI has to have the box, I'm a compliant AI. And it has to click it, and then it's
like.
Nice.
Okay. Your next and last question is individual, and then we wrap up the session. But let me try to move. What should we name the group? Currently, we were planning for Gen AI for human AI collaboration. But what's your thoughts? This you can do individually. And if you want to discuss with someone next to you, this is also okay. Huh? 2 minutes. Think.
I have like an acronym already, some suggestion?
Not yet. So you're even thinking on the cool side of things that I like. But once we get like what are the keywords that has to be there, we can pass it to ChatGPT, our amazing AI, and get an acronym out of it. Is AI the right term for like human AI? Is this representative and getting enough people in the community, or do we need to change AI? Yeah.
For me, it's okay. Human AI, it's okay, but I mean, human AI is it's large enough to include everything we could think about. But actually, what is for me again less convenient is Gen AI at the beginning, because I mean today Gen AI is the thing, the big word, okay, but when these codes will be published, so maybe there will be something else. Okay, so maybe do not use Gen AI, use something more generalistic, just to not leave
So you don't focus
some
on
people behind.
We don't focus on the technology, we focus on the actual scientific question about the human AI collaboration.
The scientific question is here, okay, human AI collaboration, okay? Now, instead of saying Gen AI, maybe talk more about tools, about methods, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, this is the first idea I have on
This
this
is good
question.
feedback. You started, that's amazing. Well, 5 steps today walking.
Yeah, essentially, I agree with you, but it's all a trade-off, right? So from a scientific point of view, calling it human AI collaboration makes a lot of sense. But there's always the scientific point of view and the sales point of view in a way, right? You attracting and all the calls in the commission, everything's turning out generative AI, right? So that's how why we inserted it. And that's because you're completely right. I mean, this is a technological thing, which in 2As it may be something different. So
I'm getting you back the question, but
that's essentially a trade-off between how much do you want to add this hype thing or how much because a lot of the other you have this topic group of Gen AI for manufacturing, for example. And I do believe that as I was presenting, I sincerely believe in addition to the hype, there's actually the current development in generative AI that fundamentally transform the way you can do human AI collaboration. Maybe something a few years later is totally different, but at the moment, this is what really enables a fundamental transformation.
that's cute.
Which one?
You mean?
I made that one.
Oh. Any further thoughts? Okay, so last order of business for today. I want to show you where we are and how can you contribute. If I'm able to share, give me a second. Okay. So we're finalizing the official paperwork of actually getting the group done. We just wanted to wait, like we're going to submit this week, but we wanted to wait in case we can include some of the feedback of the session today. And we're going to have a kickstarting event. So I told you that we already got special interest groups accepted in Kai. We had one last year. The upcoming one is in 2025 in Japan. If any of you is there, we'd love to see you. And it's specifically about human AI collaboration. Last time we had to do it about research productivity as well. And we're developing a plan currently for like maximum outreach events in 2025 and specifically in Africa. So the commission is, good question. Okay, honest answer, I'm Egyptian, so I have access there. More political answer, because also like currently in the AI office in the European Commission, there is like a subgroup. So I don't know the exact hierarchy, but there is a full group that is working specifically on the outreach in Africa. And the upcoming calls that will be published in May has a full bunch of things just about Africa.
Okay, but Egypt doesn't sound to me like Africa.
I know, geographically.
Or some like a wild Africa. That's
the beauty of it, like on map for Africa and where the MENA region is. And now if you're interested to stay in touch with us, scan the QR code. Hopefully it works with the technological situation today. Enter your name, email. Once we actually have an official thing and we're allowed to talk to people again, we're going to email you, and then we start doing regular meetups and thinking what can we do together. And with that, thank you so much for being with us today. Scan the QR code, and then we take a group picture. Thank you.
And Passant, thanks a lot for the organization, right? Well done.
Can I make one small announcement?
Yes.
As you may be aware, this was to all these activities at the feed the future edition of SRIDA. And I'm here because I'm especially interested in this topic.
Perfect.
And I really want this stuff to go to SRIDA. So if I may, I will address you later. I wrote everything down and I need to write it down as the road mapping perspectives for SRIDA. And I would
actually, you know what? I would even do something. So
if
we
you
want
can
to
show me
submit
that. I
it as
want
a
it in-
poster after tomorrow to a conference. If you want, we can even write and
Okay.
submit and all that.
I would like that from the research perspective, but I need to report to Frederick Fine from the thing. We have it here as a potential roadmap development to put it in Sweden. It was a
Perfect.
Hand raised, Eduardo Carvalho. His hand raised, so maybe it will be good to give him.
Yes, so one of our online audience wants to speak, so you just listen to that, take the photo, and then you're off the hook. Can you allow him to speak?
He is allowed to speak.
Yes?
Okay.
Okay. I'm not
Allowed to
managing this
talk?
room, so
Okay.
I have...
Okay, now has to unmute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eduardo,
clicked
can you
here,
say
but-
something? Do you hear us? Can you say something?
Microphone.
Yeah, maybe the microphone will.
Here's Michael. Eduardo, can you say something? Because we don't hear anything at this stage.
It has to unmute.
I've asked him to unmute, but it doesn't do anything. So
Eduardo?
clicking.
He might have actually misclicked the.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Raise his hand.
Eduardo, do you want to say something? Last call?
Otherwise,
A
you can
message
write.
to us.
Otherwise,
Or
you
you
can
can
in the
write
chat.
if you want.
Yeah.
Talking to us?
Are you there?
Okay.
Else we give the floor to the next
Yes.
one.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
No, okay.
He's not
So
editing, so.
I just open the first slide so that we take the good picture till Eduardo is here.
Sorry, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone, come over.
Not afraid to display the picture.
I can take the. Do you want to take it with your phone?
Yeah, maybe Ron's phone is slightly nicer. Get in.
I lost my bag actually. I cannot find it. There's
Huh?
something missing here.
Is
Over there.
Okay, time.
we are not feeling.
Join. Little closer.
I'm clumsy, so I'm staying away from the
From the laptop.
circumference, but I have a history of falling over.
I think we have no reflection on
That's
our
okay.
faces.
We have the other logo on top, so it's okay.
Here.
Okay.
So looking at
Done. The other.
It doesn't matter what I photograph. We have Gen AI, right?
Yes.
Remove the light.
You can ask remove the light from the face.
Yeah.
beautiful. Mine.
Making sure
Those photo editing AI tools work amazingly, right? Removing stuff and adding stuff.
You have a big cross on my head.
Extra stuff. It's so easy.
Seriously, look at that. I'm the only
I mean, you look like a human
No,
AI.
this is not fair. Actually, this is not fair.
You stood in the middle.
I know I should have anything actually. I know
I'm
somebody
not
is
sure how to
upset
access
with me.
these, but whoever print the form, I will send you the photo. Otherwise, I will post it publicly on my LinkedIn.
Yes.
In case you need a second.
Something, I mean, for my reputation, it is not possible. Have this one.
I mean, you look like the full matrix. Like, this is how it's supposed to happen. No wrinkles, no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I met you during my personal event, the very beginning of my. Can I see? Yes. I really do follow.
You can work with us. I'm at the moment in many of those groups doing the same thing. And actually, like I forgot to say that we're trying to figure out the people who are across different of those mobilizing groups to get them, because then they can mobilize the others and do stuff together.
I'm trying to, but everyone is me. It's not here. They don't involve everyone.
Let's work. Let's work.
Human in the loop. I think that each human.
I'm HCI trained and I work in a lab of machine learning. I'm HCI trained. I like human. I talk about human.
And I know that people also I feel like they're all in the so I really feel like this is something.
Are we already on LinkedIn? I think not.
Yes, I am. I can follow you, but I don't see you publishing. But I'm not very active on LinkedIn.
What are you active on? Facebook is okay because I know. Let's stay in touch somehow, I guess, and do stuff and come visit us in the lab.
Yes.
No, it was not true. Okay, okay. I would like to actually what Paul was talking about. I'm more of the agree with my differences, but I find it extremely important. Wait, right now about it. It's not about it's about how I think these tools are going to pour information.
AI,
AI, new way of thinking. I love just as you said, that people trust.
yeah, that's definitely a problem. The problem is that the AI itself will sort of turn evil. The problem is that people are stupid.
She likes humans. Like, first of all, she likes humans and she likes food. Now you can continue. Paper because intelligence is universal.
You know, there is
Queres que eu diga algo?
já podemos focus of research. Yeah, it's so important, and actually even for asset value, we want to